My Daughter Keeper presents The Wolves of Langston by Daniel Howard. A solo 5e scenario from Obvious Mimic Press. Episode 2, To Catch a Killer.
You wake up in a soft bed to a hot breakfast cooling outside your door. This is much better living than camping by the road, so it's probably time to meet your benefactor. The inn's common room is a bustle of activity as quiet townspeople load flowers from the funeral into a wagon in front of the inn. The body of the deceased is already gone. After weaving your way through the workers, you find yourself outside where passers-by are deliberately ignoring the wagon full of blossoms. With the help of a few locals on the streets, you make your way to the town hall. The town hall is a multi-story building, but not much larger than the surrounding structures. It isn't made of the same timber walls as the rest of the town and is instead a much sturdier stone structure, so it likely predates the town's growth. The door stands open and an aide greets you when you arrive. He shows you to the mayor in a large but simply appointed office in the back of the building. The room is dominated by a large, dark-stained wood desk where Mayor Anathram is working with a quill and ink pot. There is also an unlit hearth on one wall, and a couple of orderly bookshelves. There are no personal effects that you can see. A cushion and a bowl of water are set up next to the desk. The mayor's mastiff is lounging there, watching you intently as you enter. You can greet the mayor or pet the dog first.
I'm going to risk saying hello to the dog first.
The dog growls, moving its considerable cheeks out of the way to bare its teeth. The mayor recommends that if you like your hand attached, you would be wise to remove it from her dog's reach. You believe her, and the dog, so you pull your hand back intact. Better late than never, you greet the mayor.
Greetings, Mayor Anathram.
You politely greet the mayor, and the dog lays its massive head back down on its paws. It continues to watch you closely, however. I am grateful for your service, she says. You assume she is being genuine, but it's impossible to tell for sure with her stony delivery. She outlines the problem she's having, a gruesome murder about a week ago. The town militia is fine against bandits or sheep rustlers, but this requires someone different. The poor girl was mangled as if by a wild beast, but she was found within town. Besides, Roy keeps the woods free of monsters and supernatural hazards. And besides, she explains, you're an outsider and therefore expendable. It's the mayor's role to protect the town, not every drifter that wanders in. The town will pay 320 gold pieces to eliminate the threat. That fee is not negotiable, and Mayor Anathram gives you the impression it would be bad for your health to try.
320 gold pieces for a simple investigation sounds fair.
Excellent, Mayor Anathram says in a gravelly tone you can only assume means she's pleased. Let us begin. Please speak to Maybelline's fiancé. He is an herbalist who lives on the western edge of town where he tends his garden and makes medicines for the townsfolk. You thank the mayor and prepare to leave, but she holds up a hand. I have also made an arrangement with our general store. You may go to resupply any time you may need to do so. It does not have as many goods as a big city, but it will likely have whatever you need, much at a discount. And here is an advance to make whatever purchases you may need.
I say, 20 gold pieces is a comfortable advance. Thank you, Mayor.
And she grunts in response before returning to the paperwork on the table. Go to see Tomlin, the town's herbalist, and Maybelline's fiancé. This morning, Langston seems to be back to normal. Townspeople bustle about their daily lives of working, shopping, eating, and gossiping. You guess there are around 1,000 people in Langston, but you see very few people idle. Tradespeople ply their trades smithing, weaving, building furniture, or baking bread. But laughter is just a little too spaced out. The sounds of hammers and hoofbeats seem just a little too loud. The air is charged with fear and grief, even in the light of day. You pass the wagon laden with flowers from the funeral once again, looking forlorn alone in the street. So you now find yourself in a strange town with a substantial payday on the other end of a murder investigation. The victim is a young woman who was apparently torn apart by a wild beast, but within the confines of the town. Your first lead is the dead woman's fiancé, but that's it. It looks like you have your work cut out for you. Hey, adventurer! Calls out a man's voice behind you. It's the same man who challenged you to a fight the night before, carrying a bundle of barrel staves. We've got our eyes on you. Don't you think we don't? A few others nearby shake their heads, and one local shoots you an embarrassed look. Yes, you will definitely have your work cut out for you. Now that you've had the chance to be in town for a while, you sense that there is something odd about Langston, but it has nothing to do with its buildings and its people. The whole area is permeated in powerful magic, so strong that you can sense its presence even without the conscious act of it. You suspect that whatever effect you're experiencing will overpower your ability to detect magic, possibly to the point of harming you. You can test this assumption by detecting magic with a spell or ability, or not detect magic while in or around Langston and continue on your way to the herbalist.
A slight wave of the hand and magic.
When you detect magic, you see a burst of bright light strobing with pitch darkness. A rushing hum fills your ears and your head is filled with a piercing agony. Lose 1 HP. As the pain subsides, you are able to sense that the magic is a mix of necromancy and abjuration warring with one another. Your senses return to normal as you gasp for air, and the buzzing of the magical power here fades away. With a final shake of your head, you continue on your way to meet the herbalist. You follow the mayor's instructions to Tomlin's cottage on the edge of town, but you'd have recognized it regardless. The home is a single-story, multi-room building with the same timber-framed walls, a clean coat of whitewash, and good-condition clay tiles on the roof. However, each visible window is nearly obscured by lush flower boxes bursting with colour. The entire front of the home is festooned with decorative flowers sprouting from bushes and vines, and extending off to either side are more vine-covered trellises, indicating a substantial garden out back, some of which you can see between plants and the trellis. It's a beautiful space whose owner obviously takes great pride in maintaining it, and you admire the effort that went into it, if nothing else. As you're not sure if the herbalist Tomlin is expecting you, you can either knock at the door right away or take in more of the surroundings to see if there's anything interesting.
I'm going to snoop. Who doesn't like a good snoop?
You take a moment to admire the lush flowers and plants around you. A brightly coloured butterfly flutters past on its way to some purple flowers growing by the door, and bees hum contentedly among some brightly coloured blooms nearby. It smells sweet and green in a way that you could lose yourself in the moment. But before you can decide to give up a life of adventure for a plot of land, the door opens with a loud click. You jump, instinctively reaching for a way to defend yourself before you realise that it's just Tomlin. And someone else. He is locked in a long kiss with a young woman, but sees you out of the corner of his eye and abruptly pulls away. She nearly falls with a cry before catching herself against the doorframe. Tomlin stammers a moment before reaching into the house and handing the woman a sachet of some herbal tea. Here's the, medicine for your sick aunt, if there's, anything else. The woman has now noticed you as well and blushes. No, thank you. I'll give this to my sick, grandmother. She grips the sachet tightly in her fingers and excuses herself. Tomlin offers you a sheepish smile and a half shrug.
Say, Tomlin, interesting guest.
Oh, he says, swiping his mussed hair back into place. Pretty routine, really. She is just a young woman getting medicine for her poor sick brother.
Funny, I could have sworn you said it was for her aunt.
Oh, yes, aunt, Tomlin says with a half laugh. Terribly ill, but such a darling girl for taking such good care of her ailing mother like that.
Aunt, I think you mean.
Right, won't you come in? He steps inside, waving for you to follow him in. Looking embarrassed, but not able to resist glancing after his guest, Tomlin closes the door behind you. The herbalist's cottage is a riotous sensory experience. Fresh flowers sit in vases and lie in bunches on various surfaces. More flowers, herbs and roots hang from special drying racks among the ceiling beams. The windows are all hung with vibrant purple flowers in the early stages of drying out. They are evenly spaced with small bunches of daisies tied with little purple ribbons, so it's difficult for you to tell if they are medicinal or decorative. but it looks like a bit of Maybelline's influence on the space. The odours come in waves, some medicinal and astringent, others floral, herbal and fruity in waves. It's intense but not unpleasant. The hearth's coals are banked low, but some decoction bubbles away in a cauldron. A more sophisticated filtering system rests on a workbench, slowly dripping a bright orange liquid into a vial. Tomlin reaches for a kettle just starting to bang away over a burner. Clearly, he had started the water for tea with the expectation of a different companion. He selects a packet of herbs and wildflowers almost without looking and tosses them into a teapot and douses the tea in boiling water from the kettle. He pours 2 cups and hands one to you. Bitter steam wafts up from the yellowish liquid in your cup. He eagerly watches you to see if you like the tea.
I'm assessing this. I have no faith in this dude whatsoever.
You don't immediately recognize the tea's ingredients based on its appearance or smell. How do you assess the tea's safety?
I'm going to have to attempt to use my medicine on this one, I think.
The herbalist is doing a poor job of hiding his amusement as you carefully examine the tea. Roll a wisdom medicine check.
Even with my +4, that's only 7. I am going to use the healer's kit that I have. So that'll take me down to 3 uses of that in order to reroll at advantage. That's only a 7, but with the +4, that's 11. It's not gonna cut it. Damn it.
You can't tell if the tea is safe or not. This is starting to get awkward, but Tomlin is at least trying to look like he isn't amused.
I'm not risking any more badness. I'm going to politely refuse.
The herbalist is disappointed you won't join him for a cup of tea, but he shrugs and drinks the cup he's poured for you by himself. Despite the fact it's still steaming hot, he downs it in a single long gulp. This is a man who drinks a lot of tea. So, I guess you're here to ask me about Maybelline, Tomlin asks.
How very perceptive of you.
The herbalist sighs and sips at his tea. Pain springs onto his handsome features and he looks past you into the middle distance. Maybelline and I have known each other forever, of course, he says. She was the queen of the marketplace and has been since she was a child, I'm told. Even when running her family's vegetable cart, she still kept everyone organized and mediated conflicts. And I'm the town's primary medical authority. For the mundane medicine, at least. Roy and Selene help when divine intervention becomes necessary. But still, I know everybody anyway. A slow, sad smile spreads across his face. And then, sometime around 3 months ago, something just clicked. We danced at the tavern to a bawdy song, kissed in the moonlight, and planned to wed within the month. We were just perfect for each other. And then the tears start. I'm sorry. Thank you for being here to help find whoever or whatever did this so that no one else will have to feel this kind of pain. It's no wonder her parents are holding themselves up in the farm, refusing to talk to anyone. Maybelline was a bright and shining star who will be dearly missed. What else do you want to know?
Have you seen anything strange around town lately? Or maybe someone?
Tomlin rubs his beard, which he probably knows highlights his jawline. Nothing strange, except maybe that the wolves have been more vocal than usual. There have always been wolves around, but they seem louder and closer over the last month or 2.
Have the wolves ever been a threat before?
Only to livestock, Tomlin says. But now that I think about it, there was also some talk of a couple of strangers that for some reason made a camp near Emmett and Tilly's farmstead.
Why wouldn't someone stay in town?
There are lots of reasons, Tomlin says with a shrug. If they haven't the coin, maybe. Or they're like Roy and just prefer to sleep without walls hemming you in. But there have also been some farmers complaining about thefts. If these, whoever they are, well, if they're up to no good, that could be why they aren't staying in town. Could they have done this? The herbalist's voice tightens as he makes the realization and his eyes flash with anger.
Look, Tomlin, I can assure you, if that is the case, I will find out. This may seem to be a silly question, but did Maybelline have any enemies?
Tomlin scoffs. Of course she didn't have any enemies. Everyone loved her, and she loved everyone back. It's as simple as that. Obviously, even the best people aren't universally beloved, so Tomlin isn't telling you something. You try to get the information out of him by persuading him that it's safe to tell you. Roll a charisma persuasion check.
My charisma is not brilliant, but let's roll anyway. That's a 14 on the die, so even with my -2, that's still 12. That is a success.
Tomlin resists revealing any names at first, but only slightly. In fact, there are at least 2 people I can think of, he says, then quickly raises his hands in a soothing motion. Now these aren't so much enemies as conflicts, you understand. You nod and he tells you what he knows. He'd seen Maybelline and Mayor Anathram arguing, and Maybelline never argued with anyone as far as Hick knew. Sadly, he couldn't hear what they were saying, and Solane was his lover before she went on a pilgrimage. He didn't wait for her, and his love for Maybelline blossomed while Solane was away. Obviously, losing me was quite the blow, Tomlin says with a crooked smile. But then he remembers himself and returns to the story without the playboy arrogance. Solane had shut herself up in the tower for a while before finally venturing out to administer her priestly duties, mostly anointing of babies, blessing homes, and similar tasks. Tomlin didn't speak to her much at that time. Does that help at all?
You say you saw Solane whilst you were in the tavern. Who else was there?
Well, mostly just the men, Tomlin says. At some point, Solane was passing through on her way to speak to someone. She looked a little haggard, but was her usual cheery self. She stopped over for a quick hello before rushing on her way.
Just how familiar are you with Solane in her usual frame of mind?
Well, you know, he shrugs, but more to relieve himself of some strong emotion than uncertainty. We were lovers before her pilgrimage, but while she was gone, Maybelline and I fell in love. You ask how Solane took it. Not well at first, but she came around. She even agreed to perform the wedding ceremony. You ask if that's typical for Solane to perform ceremonies like that.
Is that usual for Solane to perform that kind of ceremony?
Her or Roy. He pours himself another cup of tea. Roy was there with us, actually. He left early, though, when he started sneezing and coughing up a fit.
If this thing at the tavern was so important, why wasn't Maybelline with you in the first place?
Tomlin looks down into his teacup, swirling the yellow-green liquid and watching the bits of leaves at the bottom spin. I had plans to meet people that night. A childhood friend is having some marital woes and needed an ear to bend. But I would have loved to be with Maybelline too. She just was superstitious. She didn't go out at night when the moon is full. Thought it was an evil omen. He looks up at you, eyes glistening with tears. Turns out she was right. The silence stretches out, only interrupted by the occasional bird song outside or a bubble bursting in the filtration system. I miss her so much, Tomlin finally says. Never thought I had it in me to settle down with just one woman, especially not a farmer's daughter from the town where I've lived all my life. But that's what happened anyway, and despite my reputation. The herbalist's voice catches, and he wipes a few tears from each eye before asking if there's anything else you might need to know from him.
I think that's all for now. You've been enlightening. Thank you.
You get up to leave. Tomlin clears his throat as you ready yourself to go. Before you move on, adventurer, there is something going on here that I'm worried is related to Maybelline's death. The past few nights, something has been tearing up the garden, destroying months of cultivation. And there are strange clawed prints in the soil many mornings.
Forgive me, but what could I possibly do?
Well, obviously I'm a lover, he says. Not a fighter. Please check the garden before you go. He seems genuinely earnest and fearful, so you feel as though you should check it out. Tomlin shows you to the garden outside the back of his cottage. The lush space is a riot of colour and smells, but it's also well organised. It's more of a small farming plot than what can reasonably be called a garden. Flower beds and tracts of green herbs dominate the plot while climbing vines cover trellises that make up a fence. One of the beams anchoring a far corner of the trellises has fallen over. The place smells amazing and bees lazily hum from blossom to blossom.
Let's start by walking the perimeter.
You walk around the outer edge of the garden. There's a well-worn trail here, and Tomlin seems to be moving almost mechanically. The trellis is hung with climbing vines of different varieties, some sprouting flowers and others fruits or vegetables. The trellis uses a fairly tight lattice to form what's functionally a wall of vegetation around Tomlin's herb garden, offering both privacy and a sense of peace to the sizable plot of land Tomlin can call his own. It's a pleasant little stroll, in fact, and you can't help wondering how many times Tomlin and Maybelline might have walked this same circuit, or with how many other women Tomlin may have done the same. The herbalist doesn't seem to notice the beauty, but instead is checking the health of his plants, some of which appear to be worse for wear. Roll a wisdom perception check.
That's a dirty 20.
You notice 2 dead shrubs that appear out of place in this manicured garden. Despite being out of the wind, they start to shake and creak, so you know something is amiss. The shrubs uproot themselves and attack, which is about what you'd expected. The scraplings look like 2 small humanoids apparently made of dry wood. They rake at you with sharp claws amid the clattering of their wooden limbs. Tomlin grabs a nearby pitchfork and engages one of them, but he calls out, "Kill them! With fire if you can!" You fight only one scrapling while Tomlin fights the other. Both fight to the death.
Okay, entering combat. Let's get this on the ball. Let's have a roll for initiative. That's 10 on the die with a +4. 14. Right, these things. And the creature I'm fighting goes second. Right, so it's just the 2 of us. That's fine. In that case, cantrip. Create bonfire. A 5-foot bonfire. Any creature in the bonfire space must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 of damage. The creature must also make a saving throw when it moves in and out of the space. Okay, in that case, let's roll for this thing and see what happens. Nope, that is a failure. That's a 2. Right, so that takes a d8 of damage. That's 8. Wow. That's dead. Fantastic. Burnt up in the first attempt. Right, back to the story.
As you deal the final blow to the scrapling, Tomlin screams with a wild fury and he stabs at his opponent until it is splintered and broken. The rusty tines of the pitchfork are bent with the force of his blows. He brushes his hair out of his eyes and spits on the creatures, but his easy smile is back in place when he looks back up at you. "Well, glad that's over with," he says brightly. "Souvenir?" He reaches down and plucks one of the severed arms with its claws still attached. He hands it to you. "Listen, I know plants, but not plant creatures," Headmits. "So you should take that to go and speak to Roy Sunderhammer. That's the druid." Looking up into the sky, the day is drawing to a close, however, and you feel it's not a good idea to try to find the druid's grove in the dark, given what you've learned today. You decide to go to the inn for a good night's rest, and maybe recover from the challenges of the day so far. You start to say goodbye to Tomlin when he shushes you. "Before you go," he says, "please join me in the cottage." You follow him inside. "I'm very grateful for your help," Tomlin says once you're in his cottage. "This is to help with your investigation. It was meant to be a wedding gift for Maybelline, but I can no longer bear to have it here with me. But maybe it will be useful to you." He presents you with an ornate glass vial. The vial contains a filter of remembrance. "Am I a terrible person for feeling some relief?" he asks, a smile briefly dancing across his lips. "No, I suppose that would be natural. And we were together till death did us part." He gets a faraway look in his eye as he stares past you. You bid him farewell, which he distractedly returns, and make your way back to the inn. You make your way back through town after a very eventful day. The occasional point of whispered conversation trails in your wake, but you are left to your own thoughts as you make your way back to the inn. It's been an eventful day in the life of the travelling adventurer. You've been hired to flush out and eliminate an unknown killer by Mayor Langston and her terrifying pet. You have also met with the emotionally needy and possibly unstable fiancé of the victim. You then narrowly avoided becoming fertilizer in his garden at the hands of a pair of scraplings. So you arrive back to the inn to get some rest as the sun is just starting to dip into the west. You take a hot meal upstairs with you where you eat and ready yourself for a long rest. If tomorrow is anything like today, you feel you will need all the rest you can get.
Thank you for listening. If you survive this episode and find yourself craving more dice-fueled misery, remember that My Daughter's Keeper now releases twice a week. Your regular Descent into Madness every Sunday, with these special episodes on Wednesdays. If that still isn't enough, our Patreon is waiting in the shadows. Membership unlocks a growing catalogue of special scenarios, access to our Discord community of like-minded troublemakers, and even the chance to join us for backer-only games where your poor life choices can become canon. Until next time, keep your lanterns lit, your dice honest, and your escape plan ready, because things are only going to get worse.